And my text is Galatians chapter 3, verses 23 through 29. And my question was Abraham a Gentile? And what I believe from Scripture is that Abraham was a Gentile. He came from the city of Ur of the Chaldeans. And when I did research on the city, it was like the New York of Mesopotamia. And he had to worship foreign gods. He had to have been an idol worshiper. And he is the most incredible man, I believe, in the Bible. At least one of the most incredible men. Because he just hears this voice out of nowhere. And he follows this voice. I mean, that's just incredible to me. That he and Sarah, really. But as soon as he heard that voice telling him to leave, he left. And if you will turn to Genesis 15, that is chapter 15, verses 1 through 6, it says, "After this, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. 'Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward.' But Abram said, 'O sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estate?' And Abram said, 'You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir.' Then the word of the Lord came to him, 'This man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir.' He took him outside and said, 'Look up at the heavens and count the stars, if indeed you can count them.' Then he said to him, 'So shall your offspring be.' Abram believed the Lord, and credited to him as righteousness." So right there is where I believe Abraham ceased to be a Gentile and became a Jew. Because now I haven't found any scriptures yet to back this up. But what I personally believe is that God visited other people during the time, maybe even before him, and asked them to follow him. And I believe that they told him no. Abram, he was the first man to listen to God and to follow him. And that's when he ceased to be a Gentile and became the first Jew. But why would God call a Jewish people? Why would God need to call Abraham and establish a people? Why? Well, they were called to fix Adam's mistake. We all know the story of Adam and Eve and the curse placed upon Adam. And it was Jesus. Jesus was the only Jew that could fix Adam's mistake. And the Jews were called as one nation. They were 12 tribes, but one nation. You don't hear of the nation of Asher or the nation of Judah, the nation of Benjamin. No, they are Israel. They are one people. They are the Jews. They are 12 yet one. And they were called to be separate from the world. That's why God gave them the law. That's why God wanted them to live by a different standard than the rest of the known world. He wanted a people unto himself. We as Christians, we have been changed, or we have been called to be one body, one bride of Christ. Even within the Jewish community, there were different groups. There were the Pharisees, there were the Sadducees, and there were the Essenes. Likewise, even within Christianity, there are different denominations. But what does being a part of a denomination mean? Why is it important to be a part of a denomination? Well, the definition of a denomination is a religious organization whose congregations are united in their adherence to its belief and practices. The denomination I belong to is the Church of God. And a denomination, it provides a spiritual covering for the church. It's a spiritual as well as a physical covering and protection for the members of the church. Within my church, my pastor is my covering, and above my pastor is my state bishop, which is Brother Isaacs, and he's the covering over my pastor. And above my pastor is the general overseer, Mark Williams. He is the general overseer over the whole denomination. My pastor put it this way. He said he's like the mayor, and our state bishop is like the governor, and our general overseer is like the president. So you can see how there's that covering, but there's more than the physical, but there's also the spiritual covering as well. But should denominations isolate themselves? Well, stay tuned to part 2 and you'll find out.